Seemed like a
Microphone's on.
Oh, it's for
Ready to go?
pressure. Put you on.
Video on. All set.
light camera.
Action.
This meeting will come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Benjamin. Here. Veronic.
Here.
Baylor.
Here.
Kasdorf.
Here.
Holdman.
Here.
Sardina.
Here.
Is there anyone desiring to be heard? None. Consent agenda? None. No communications, no committee reports. Report of the administrator?
I just wanted to make a quick comment that we do have in-person absentee voting going on now through next Friday during the week for the April 7th election. End of report.
Thank you. New business item A, discussion and possible action on proposals from Lane Tank to replace the fill tank pipe, conduct maintenance painting, and minor interior repair on the Butler water tower.
So I have been communicating with the board over the past several weeks regarding an item that was brought to my attention by the village engineer and the engineering company. The water tower tank currently is at risk of having a pretty substantial issue with the fill and drain pipe, where normally with the minimum amount of thickness you would want in the riser pipe would be about 0.25 inches. What they said ideally they would want us to have is about 0.6. We are at 0.17 with heavy corrosion and pitting along the riser pipe. I sent a picture to the village board of one of those pits that were pretty substantial, and the engineer was basically telling me don't touch it because we don't want to have any issues happen with that. So this will allow us to get on their schedule because we were a little bit late to the game. Normally they book out about a year in advance, but they said that because of the severity of the issue, they would put us on the schedule for this year. So we brought them on, got a proposal in. The proposals outlined in the packet. So the riser pipe replacement would be about $70,000, and then the interior painting and repairs would be, I believe, give me 1 second.
169,500.
Yes, 169.5. And then to rent the pressure tank that would basically divert water around the water tower. It was kind of how we had it in 2020, 2021 when we did the outside painting. We would get a truck on scene. It's kind of the size of a semi truck. It would bypass the tower and pump water out at the same PSI as it currently is from the underground storage tank to the residents and businesses. So there would be minimal disruption. However, I have talked to Chief Cass about it, that it does bring up a little bit of a problem when it comes to firefighting during that time, just because it's not as steady as the actual water tower since it's just a tank on the back of a semi. So during that time, obviously, I would be talking with Chief Cass, and he would be making preparations to ensure that the village is adequately covered when it comes to fire protection. Everything's outlined in this proposal. Lane Tank is the one that did the work on the water tower in 2020. They did, in my opinion, a very nice job. There was no issues on behalf of RA Smith or the DPW. So I felt very comfortable going with them on this project. There's also no public bidding requirements, as the state courts and state law have basically exempted water tower maintenance from the public bidding requirements, which would have added on significant cost and delayed the project by at least 3 months to get all the specifications out. There's also concerns with more fly-by-night contractors that would underbid good quality companies and then do change orders up to the original price. So I'm very comfortable with moving forward with this, and the fact that they can get us on probably August, September timeframe, late summer, early fall, I think is perfect for us to get all of this done. Then all of the water tower stuff, all the water replacement projects will be done. The street project will be done. We'll have done all of the hydrant testing, and it's basically kind of the prime opportunity to do that. If you have any questions, let me know. Obviously, Chief Cass is here if you have any questions on fire protection.
Chief, then you're just going to treat it like a non-hydrant community or area for any fires that would go on. So you would change stuff around for tankers to be coming in.
Here's a couple different options, show what the pre-planted out as far as like, what do we have for hydrants on the periphery of the city that we can tap into, like, especially in the city of Brookfield there. And then, yeah, you have like a tender operation for anything that would be maybe in the center of the city that might be a longer way. Yeah. But you have various options on that.
Was the interior painting coming due anyways?
Yes, we were planning on doing that in 2028.
Okay. Any other questions? I'm comfortable with going with Lane Tank because I know when they did the tower a couple of years ago, everything was fine. It worked out well. So does tanker truck and all that, is that part of this bid or is that in addition to it?
That's separate, but that's going to be, if I'm remembering properly, it's no more than 8,000. I want to say it's more like 6,500 to 7,000 for the time period that we're asking for.
Okay.
Does Lane Tank facilitate that, or is that another thing that you have to put on your radar to coordinate?
Ari Smith already has a proposal. We're going with the company that we did last time. There's only a few that do it, but Ari Smith has already gotten a quote from a company, and we've already signed on to that.
Okay, so they're taking care of it.
Correct.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention so quickly.
Yeah, and moving so fast, getting all these quotes together and different companies working.
Is there a motion? I'll make a motion to approve Lane Tank repairs as stated on item A.
I'll second it.
Paul and Bill. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All in opposition, say nay. Motion passes. Item B, discussion and possible action on the First Amendment to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Agreement between the City of Brookfield and the Village of Butler for fire and emergency medical services.
So this amendment is the First Amendment as stated, and this is primarily dealing with the grant possibility from the state of Wisconsin. It's the innovation grant. We received the innovation planning grant, which allowed us to fund the search for a new fire department last year. So we got that. That was about $31,000. This grant through the state of Wisconsin they set aside $300 million for the entire state. They have the ability we have the ability to apply for it. It needs to be a combining of departments or privatization of a specific service covered in the act. We then get 25% of the former cost every year for a certain amount of time. And it's doled out every year. There's auditing requirements, there's project stuff that we have to deal with along the way to remain compliant and in good faith and good standing with the grant. I'm going to hand it over to Chief Cass here really quick. He kind of has been the spearhead on the innovation grant itself and has his attorney is the one that drafted the initial amendment to the agreement, and then our attorney kind of responded, and he's a pretty good source on that.
Yeah, so our combined services, our service agreement is eligible for innovation grant funding. And our contract actually has most of the stipulations in there. There's roughly about 9 items that have to be in the contract. And since we have most of them, we have to have the other parts in there. And so the other parts are identifying what each party, so the Village of Butler and the City of Brookfield, what were the fire department's budgets in 2025.
Okay.
So that has to be laid out in there because that will lay the way for the first year's payment. Then subsequent years, we have to provide them information on each other's budgets. And so they audit us based on staying under a combined 115% threshold, which we feel that we'll be able to meet at each year. So since our contract's good for 10 years, they'll pay out somewhere between 3 and 5. Our contract's good for 5 years. So everybody gets the money for the next 5 years. It could be extended out. It just depends if they change that statute. Like Bennett said, they have like $300 million. The last I looked on their website, they had roughly $1 million, I think, in grant money that was applied for. They haven't made a decision on any of that. I'm sure they'll get the others the last week here, but they still have plenty of money. So that could change. They could extend out the dates. They could, I don't know what they what the current revenue has, but they have certain things that they can do with the money, and also they could also be subject to the but either way, we're eligible for it. We think that we have a good chance of getting it. Adding in those details, like I said, we had to include our budget costs for 2025. Also, we have to put in there the proportion of the monies and how they'd be spent. So we have in there that it'd be split 50-50. And then we also have to put in a stipulation that for specifically public safety and fire protection, that the emergency services would remain at the appropriate level. And I already have I was filling out the grant today. I'm like, all I have is just a couple of attachments, but one of them is this amendment. But it already calculated out. You have to detail in there and like how the service has been enhanced, and we populate that in there, and it's pretty much the language that we use when we
Right.
process. And so it looks like the annual grant payment is going to be right around like $93,835. So
Total or for each?
that's total. And then when you split it, it'd be like, it's going to be roughly 46.
Yeah.
46,000.
Okay.
And so it's just adding those things from the Department of Revenue that they needed to have in there to make sure that we are eligible for the grant. And that was the big thing, is that it has to be in the initial contract. So that's why we're asking. And then the stipulations are moving forward is that we just have to supply them with budget documents from each municipality for the services so that they calculate out to make sure we're staying under that 100% threshold.
Okay.
And then I would just add at the end of page 2, in the beginning of page 3, because I had a question from a trustee. It does say such credits will be applied by the city equally over each of the 12 months invoices submitted by the city under section 5A, following the receipt of each award. So basically, Brookfield will get half, we'll get half, but they are going to apply that to the outstanding balance. So obviously this year is 585. They would apply that $46,000 that they received to that total amount, which would then lower the monthly payments that we would owe them by 1/12 of what that is, which I think I calculated out to be about $4,000.
There will be one minor change. I think the amount of Butler's budget was correct on there. Ours will be adjusted up because we've taken the depreciation of the assets. So that will go from like 12.2 up to like 12.5. So I have that number
Okay.
phrased. So I will just cross it off.
Sounds good.
That's correct in there.
This might be a obvious and dumb question, but I guess what's the advantage to Brookfield with the grant? Is there any? Because you have a contract amount, either way you get that amount. Is it more to help us then?
It's help out both municipalities. And it does. I'm like, to have to go through this exercise. I'm like, I think you want to play this out because I'm like, there could be other possibilities with it, or if it expands, you want to be able to take advantage of that.
So the full 93,000 then in essence comes back to that contract rate? Is that what I'm understanding? The full 93,000 would come off of the full contracted price? Is that?
It would be the 46. We would get 46,000 in our bank.
Yeah.
And then that would then get paid out to Brookfield, but the amount that they would invoice us would reduce by their 46,000.
There's nothing, the money can go for whatever. It's
Oh,
wide open. The money can go into the general coffer of any municipality. Does not have to be, it's not like 2% dues or like the EMS FAP. It does not have to be. So they're like, nope, because you did this, because they're trying to stir innovation.
Oh, okay.
Like, you're doing this, we set aside monies for this, but the municipality, if you get the award, this can be used for anything. You don't have to direct it towards
Specific.
the specific service. Like for ours, it's going to be obviously for emergency services and fire protection, but it could be like anything else. Like there could be courts or whatever. It's any type of municipal innovation grants that are out there. It's probably like 50 or even more things that are eligible for that.
Okay, so you can put it anywhere you want in your budget. Yeah. Okay.
And same. Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. Okay. I see.
So is this a one-time?
No, the payments will go on for 5 years.
Right.
This year, there really is no audit of it. The audit of the monies will come next year. And so what happens is if you don't If you are under the 115% threshold,
Right?
then they'll give you the payment for 2027.
Oh,
If
okay.
you don't, you just don't get the payment. But if you make it the following year, you get it. It's not like you get penalized, and yet you have to return all the money. You just get penalized in the year that you did not meet that threshold.
All right. And you see no problem with that?
No, absolutely not. This would be a great benefit. And I guess I'll make this a good plug where this is, one of probably a half dozen grants that we've applied, that we're going to be applying for that. Again, with the police radios to the wellness grants to this grant, we're going to be, if we get all of this, we're going to probably have well over $100,000 in grant money that we got this year. So it's a pretty
we're-
fantastic opportunity for the village.
But we're not counting any of it until we see it. in the
Correct.
grant. All right.
Correct.
Thank you for taking care of that for us. Any other questions?
No, I'm more than satisfied.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to move forward with the First Amendment to the intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the city of Brookfield and the village of Butler for fire and emergency medical services.
I'll second
I second.
Take your choice.
I'll give it to Mark.
Aye.
I'll give it to Mark. I had multiple people all at the same time. Mark's on a delay. Give it to Eric and Mark. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye. On opposition,
Aye.
say nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Chief, for that information.
Thank you very much, Chief, for all your hard work on that.
And is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Tom and Bill. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On opposition, say nay. Motion passes, adjourned at 6:17. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.